Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm going for something a little bit different today. I want to go for a little reading vlog. So
she was like a shot of espresso. She's like being bathed in sunlight.
me?
She's incredibly energetic and enthusiastic, and she had this sense of play and fun, which was incredibly exciting.
I was just scrolling on my TikTok, having, you know, a little look-see at what's going on, and this video comes up of this girl who she's literally sobbing, and she's like, I just finished this book and I'm a mess, but in the best way possible. And I was like, I'm intrigued. So me being me, I impulse buy and I headed straight to Amazon and I bought the book. So it's Alone with You in the Other, a love story by Olivia Blake. And I didn't know anything about the story. I didn't know what type of romance. I didn't know who the characters are, what they look like, nothing like that. I went into this blindly. So ordered it on Amazon, it came the next day. I read the blurb first and I'll read it to you. So it says, Chicago, sometime. She wanted to tell him, to teach him. Every time you love, pieces of you break off and get replaced by something you steal from someone else. It seems like it's the right shape, but it's slightly different every time, so that eventually, very, very quietly, and over days and days and days, you're transformed into something unrecognizable. And it happens so slowly you don't even notice, like shedding scales and making new ones. He smiled at her, like, isn't it great? Yes, she thought, pained. Yes, it's perilously wonderful to suffer so sweetly with you. Yeah, I know. It sounds like it's actually gonna break my heart, and I'm about 100 pages in, and these are my thoughts so far. Skip this. I mean, you might as well skip the whole video. I'm probably gonna spoil it by accident, but I'll try my best not to. But basically, for some context, there are two main characters, Aldo and Reagan. Aldo is this half Dominican, I think he's half Dominican, half Italian boy genius who he's basically investigating time travel, and he has this obsession with like hexagons and bees, and he has these like really, I feel like they're quite sweet conversations with his father every day. At the same time, when he like checks in, his father owns like an Italian restaurant, and I think the relationship is quite sweet. But Aldo, you can tell he does have a lot of issues kind of interacting with people. He doesn't particularly like teaching, but he has to in order to fund his research. But he is this boy genius with an edge. He's kind of cool. He rides a motorcycle, he wears leather. The image I have in my head is this kind of tall, like kind of messy, swoopy, dark hair, kind of tan, brown-eyed boy, maybe 6 foot or something, little motorcycle boy. And the other character, Reagan, she is, first of all, she is from East Asia, so she literally would look like me, which I'm obsessed with because it's very rare to find a romance book where the main character is someone who looks like me. So that is a big factor into why I already love it so much. Reagan is like the black sheep of her family. She did art history, her sister did medicine and is now a doctor, and she's happily married and has a kid and all this stuff. And Reagan just feels like this big failure who went off and pursued art history and knows all this useless information. But Reagan is she also comes from quite a wealthy family, and she's in this very like weird relationship. Of course, she meets Aldo, and Aldo is intrigued by her, and he offers 6 conversations with her he says he wants to experiment with her, which sounds weird, but it's actually really sweet when you read the book, because she obviously states she has a boyfriend. And so far I'm like 4 conversations in, or just starting the 4th conversation, and I am obsessed. Like the way Blake just, like the tension that is building, I can't deal. I literally it's like, oh my gosh, like when are they just gonna admit that they like each other? Like, because right now they're just being like friendly, you know, like just being like friends, and I feel like it's a friends to lover type of situation, and I'm like obsessed with that trope. So far I'm loving it. I love the writing style. It's like a play almost as well, which I really love, because it's like I'm watching a movie in my mind. Like I really can see what Aldo and Reagan look like in my head. I will keep you updated when I get a third of the way in, but those are just my thoughts about 100 pages in. So everyone is sleeping at the moment, and I just finished a meeting, which is why I'm whispering. But basically I'm gonna take off my makeup and wash my face, do a little bit of skincare, get into bed and do maybe like 10 pages of reading. I'm just trying to be really quiet because my parents are sleeping. But yeah, let's take this off. So I use this, and that's, what is this? It's a clip. Take off my makeup. Oh, don't you hate it when like your eyeliner just won't budge? So makeup off, skincare on. I had just had to put some clothes away, and then I can set up my little reading nook. I'm sure like everyone has a reading nook, but I'll show you my setup once I sort this all out. So I'm on page 94. I'm gonna try and get to page 110. And then maybe let you know what my thoughts are, but I'll time lapse this. It is the next day. I ended up using my phone because I like to listen to music when I read. It just like helps me focus and it helps build the scene. And since it was a romance, I was listening to like a lot of like R&B kind of slow love songs, and it just really helped because so much tension was building. I'm at about page 100, so I read more than 10 pages. I went to bed at like 3 a.m. because I was just like so like engrossed in the book, and I got to like page 118, 119, and literally I'm obsessed. There's a scene in this particular chapter that is just very like, you kind of go, oh my gosh. Basically they're holding hands in this church, and it's like not a typical like cheesy hand holding. It's very them, which I just love. They're at their final conversation, but they're really like holding back on it. Like they're really trying to just like long it out until they have their final conversation, and they're having like little conversations where they're like, oh, we're just being logistical about it, like we're just, you know, this doesn't count as a conversation because this wasn't said and he didn't learn anything about me here. So yeah, a part of me doesn't want to reach the end of the chapter because then that would mean they've had their 6th conversation, and I don't think I'm mentally prepared to see a world where they're not talking. But you know, there's more to the book, so yeah. So far, loving it, obsessed with it, and I can't wait. Also, I woke up at like 8 a.m. to get Harry Styles tickets, and I didn't get them. Bear in mind, I was in that queue, literally, I had all the tabs open at 9, and I didn't get a ticket. Sad times. I've just been teaching today, but my student hasn't turned up today, which like, low-key I'm kind of not mad at, because it just means I've got more things done. Like I did some editing, and now I'm gonna give this a read and get to the end of the chapter and share my thoughts. Okay, you can see I'm in a lesson, but student isn't here. I'm so sad that like YouTube, what's it called, copyright stuff, because I would love to share some of the songs that I listen to when reading this. I think playing romance songs for me really helps build the story and the tension. And a song I have particularly been loving for this book is Begin Again, particularly in the beginning part of this, and This Love, Taylor's version, because their love is like new but also kind of forbidden, and it's like, yeah. So because I'm like kind of obsessed with this book, I might make a Spotify playlist. So if I do reread it, I'll just be listening to that. But I have mainly been listening to Taylor Swift songs, I can't lie, because I just feel like, especially like the newer kind of romance ones, I feel like it captures it really well. But I'm gonna get reading and I'll let you know kind of my thoughts as I read. Gosh, that's so cute. He's so, like, basically she's turned up at his door after having like a bit of an episode, and he's basically like in awe, and he can't believe that she's in love with him. Okay, I'm just gonna pause there, but the book is getting very good. I'm about halfway through, as you can see, and it's getting really good. The sky is so pretty. You can't really see it because we have these things over it, but like the sky is really pretty at the moment. I'm gonna play some like Paris jazz music and read. This is like my little reading area. It's literally my bed, and then just like all my like teddies and stuff. I just love how cozy it is. Like I love just like I love this pillow. It's so comfy. I just like lay up against it and like read. Hopefully the next time you see me I will be finished. Exciting. This line. Regan, he thought, Regan, this night is stolen. I want grand larceny, and this is petty theft. Oh my gosh. You don't understand, like this line holds so much weight. Oh my god, like I could feel my heart just like racing after reading all of that. That whole scene, like it's still going on. Good morning. It's literally the next day. For some reason I felt like not doing like a full face today, but just like doing my brows, maybe curling my lashes and putting on some lip gloss. But I don't really want to put any face makeup on today. But I fell asleep reading and I literally got, let me see, I don't know if you can see, I'm like this, I have this much left, and so much has happened, and I don't want to like say anything just yet because I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm obsessed with them. It's giving, what is it giving? Like unrequited love, but with the friendship, like friends to lover trope. But it's just like the way they've been interacting hasn't really been like friends to lover though, because there was that instant chemistry. So I would say it's more like a love triangle, except isn't. I don't know, like unrequited love. She still is with her boyfriend. She feels he isn't reciprocating like the feelings she has, but he clearly is like basically in love with her. and he's just not good at expressing it because he's like a theoretical mathematician. Also, his eyes are green, not brown, but in my head he has brown eyes. I don't know why. I just don't really see Aldo having anything other than brown eyes, but that's just me. But in yesterday's scene, they agreed to like not talk to each other because like too much chemistry was happening basically, and something happened at the wedding, at her parents, not wedding, at her parents' like anniversary dinner, and basically they both just like agreed to just not speak about it and just like give each other space. And then I think only a couple of days went by and Reagan found her love or her passion again, or the key, which if you read the book you'll know what I'm on about. But it's actually really hard to talk and do your makeup at the same time, I can't lie. But I'm so glad that Regan is doing her thing. It feels like Regan is finally becoming her own person, and she's done something super impulsive, and that's why it ended. She's done something really impulsive, and I think now her and Aldo might just, you know, finally be together. But I'm really sad because the thing about having a physical book is when you can actually see like how far you are from the ending, and the fact that they're getting together so late and there's so little pages left concerns me, I can't lie, because it's like something tragic is gonna happen, or like something bad's gonna happen, because we would have explored their entire relationship a little earlier on. So it was more like them getting to know each other, denying their chemistry because she was really in denial. She wanted to stay with her annoying boyfriend Mark. So yeah, but last night I literally fell asleep at like 1 AM and I woke up at 4 AM to like Kalani in my ears because I didn't realise I fell asleep with my music on. I think I was listening to Taylor Swift, you know, at first though, because that's what I love. Like I was listening to a Taylor Swift like love playlist but I had to switch it to R&B because like I swear the way certain situations are described, my gosh, my heart was beating out my chest. I was like, damn, that's a lot of chemistry. I'm in a lesson. The student never turns up for this one. I'm not mad at it, but for some reason I just felt like putting on some eyebrows today and maybe curling my lashes. I don't know if I want to put on false lashes today, I can't lie. Like I don't know if I can be asked for that. But I have a few lessons, but I have a big gap after this lesson to maybe read. I don't know if I'll finish it in that gap. If I do, I'll definitely let you know. But I'm just super like invested. Like, yeah, I'm super invested. So yeah, let me know if you guys like these type of videos of me just like talking and just like living life. I realized that like, because I watch a lot of booktubers and a lot of them can read books in like an hour. Like Jack Edwards' reading speed is insane. He literally reads books in like he'll read like 5 books in a day, and for me it's taken me literally 4 days to get to where I am, because I don't know, as I said, I was in a reading slump, so it does take quite a while for me. I'm not saying like I'm stoned. I think I have to be super invested. I think that's why I read so much yesterday, because in terms of pace, like so much was happening. Like there was so much drama and I was like low-key obsessed with it. By the way, this eye colour is probably one of the best eye colours I have. My lashes normally naturally go straight down because I have obviously like Asian eyes, and this is probably one of the best eye colours I've had. I'm kind of sad though. I don't want to finish the book because I have a feeling something bad's gonna happen. And so far, it's all just been really, like, cute, kind of, like, sexual tension, and I'm, like, here for it, but that just means something bad is gonna happen, and I'm not here for it, and I don't want anyone to hurt Aldo. There was this really good scene where Reagan is high, and it's like you're inside her mind, and it's like flipping between her voice and her mum's voice, and I was like, damn, that's some good writing there. I will say, in some of the pages though, some of the writing does get a little bit confusing in terms of perspective. It required a little bit more focus from me, but to be honest, like, I kind of caught up with it, and I realised where they were going. I like that they're really flipping now between Aldo's perspective and Reagan's perspective, and you're kind of seeing the way they view each other, and it's as a reader, it's so frustrating because it's like, you guys are so in love with each other, why can't you realise that? I am going to, actually, I might give it a read now since my student isn't here, and I will let you know. Hi guys, it has been a hot minute since I have finished reading this book. It's been like a good 2-3 weeks. I did leave a review on Instagram and Goodreads, but of course I have to finish the reading vlog off and give you my final thoughts. So I would rate this a good solid 5 out of 5. It's everything I've always wanted in a romance and more. I went into it not really expecting much because I didn't really know what it was about. It was literally an impulse buy on Tik, and I am so glad this book and Normal People will now go down as like my ultimate like must reads. Like, I will always recommend this book and Normal People because there's something so special. I will say the writing at times can come off a little like just a little bit pretentious. But that being said, I think it is meant to come off that way because Aldo is, of course, a theoretical mathematician, so he has to have the fancy lingo, and Regan is meant to be like this, a character who just doesn't give a shit, basically, to put it in short and sweet. She's obviously been raised in quite a wealthy background, so she will have like a good knowledge. Plus, she was an art history student, so she'll have that fancy lingo. I just think the way their romance developed was incredibly well paced. It went from like a slow burn to this almost intense, passionate like love. But then you also see the not breakdown, but you see like the highs and the lows. The book also does address mental health, particularly bipolar disorder, and I think it's really interesting to be in the mind of someone who has bipolar disorder because I personally haven't experienced or had a chance to interact with someone who has bipolar disorder, so getting that insight into the mind of someone with bipolar disorder just allows me to empathize a bit more and understand it a little bit more, which I thought was really good and surprising. I think it does address mental health in a really realistic way, not a harmful way, which I do feel like when you address mental health in books, it can be a bit hard to kind of get lost and go down the stereotypes. And I do think this book in particular doesn't really hit the stereotypes, and perhaps it maybe even hits parts of it where it would be part of a mental disorder. So it's definitely eye-opening in that sense. In terms of representation, love, I am Filipino, and so seeing a Southeast Asian woman as the main love interest was amazing to read, especially because I love the book so much. And her also be so open and honest about sex and it not being taboo, and her being very open about her sexuality and her, you know, like the things she wants and desires and needs is refreshing to read, especially because I feel like a lot of books Asian women are involved, they're often written a little bit like frigid or a little bit like stiff and stuck up, and it's just nice to see like a realistic and healthy representation of a young Asian woman who is comfortable in her sexuality and knows what she wants. Aldo, I will say, is like a little bit stereotypical to an extent, but he is he completely Latino? No, he's like half European, half Latina. For me, I couldn't really relate to Regan in the sense of like what was going on in her mind, because a lot of the time it's written in the third person, but you get an insight into their thought process. I think I related more to Aldo in the sense of I do be constantly thinking in terms of the things I'm passionate about, and he's obviously passionate about maths. absolutely loved about this book is you can really tell that Blake did her research, because the way theoretical mathematics and art history and the lexis and the semantic fields and terminology for it all are intertwined into the way they build their romance is beautiful. I have so many quotes in here that are just incredibly, like, you just sit back and you're like, wow, like only within this, the theme of this book, would it be incredibly romantic to use a maths equation to talk about love. Moments where I was gonna cry as well. A lot of people on Book Talk have been like, oh my gosh, I cried so much. There were definitely moments where I definitely got emotional. I think I cried maybe once. I think they were happy tears. And what I love so much about this book and Normal People is how realistic they are, you know, in terms of human relationships. And I think go on to do my masters, I hope to be a writer like this and like Rooney, you know, a writer who writes true, real, genuine human experiences, knowledge, you know, in a artistic way. And I think Blake does that incredibly well. Fun fact, Blake likes my tweet about me freaking out over Alone in the Other, which my little book nerd heart was like, oh my gosh, yay. This book just ticks every box for me. It's definitely 5 out of 5. Like, I genuinely just can't stop thinking about it, and I definitely will be rereading when I get through my many books that I keep buying and not reading. That was my little read along vlog. I hope you guys liked it. I'm sorry it's taking me so long to finally review it and get this video up, but just life gets in the way, and this channel is for a bit of fun